Hello, everybody. I am Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching Drag Race, Season 14, Episode 10.
Out of Infinity.
Everybody is losing their mind. Like, they haven't been doing this for, the last several seasons.
Okay.
Do you remember last season? It was eternal.
I do. Because they did the, two teams at first again.
Yeah. There's going to be 16 episodes. We're going to have 6 more episodes.
I know.
No, but everybody is losing. I think the reason why this one feels the most is because people aren't going home.
Yeah, is this not 3 weeks in a row we haven't sent someone home? Or is this just the third episode we haven't sent someone home?
It's the number in a row, and also I feel like there have been 5 weeks someone because if you count them bringing
Daya
and Orion back. So
we still got 8 bitches, y'all.
So I was trying to determine whether this episode was halfway through. It was Snatch Game. And halfway through Snatch Game, I was like, okay, so is this really this bad, or is this just the narrative angle we're taking?
That, I guess, could be.
It was pretty bad. I think the difference is...
What they showed us was...
No, I think the difference is that there's usually 1 or 2 people who are great.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 or 3 people in the middle, and then 1 or 2 people who bomb. And this was 2 in the middle, and the rest bombed.
Yeah.
Because
then it makes the 2 in the middle feel like they're doing gangbusters, even though it's it's just okay.
I'm trying so hard to not be a hater, but Deja, she's just not my queen. She's not, she's not my style or who.
Kept making comments about how, God, she's just been really bringing it the last few weeks, and the runways and the talent. And I'm like,
as in she was also there. Yeah.
She has been walking the runway and doing a talent.
She's looked good. But I am so sorry if you're watching or what. I know no actual personal, but I was like, what?
You were like, why is the best thing she's worn all season this bubble wrap dress that took 5 minutes?
Well, it just and again, Little John, there
were 3 men. They usually give them such a hard time for doing men.
I think they kind of stopped because it's when a show goes for so many cycles, it's things get sort of tossed up. But
also, I guess in my opinion, you can't. Long dead people, I feel like you can't fault. So the William Shakespeare almost gets a total pass for me, but Lil Jon and Ozzy Osbourne are both living human people.
Well, how are we going about this? Are we just let's just dive, because there was a mini challenge. It was fine. They had to make clothes out of bubble wrap.
Yeah. And Bosco won, right?
Let's go with that. Bosco won the mini challenge, I guess. And then it was Snatch Game. I think it's so okay. I love RuPaul. I think she is such a chaos entity.
Oh, yeah.
I think she is so funny. I love how in one hand she's so benevolent and gracious, but it's if you get just a hair comfortable, she'll be like, oh, oh. And I love when she does these consultations with the queens, and she basically just puts all of them on edge.
Yeah.
The ones who are unsure, she really sort of boosts them and gives them confidence. And the ones who are confident, she's like,
I don't know what I'd do about that.
And it's just so diabolical. Yeah. It's so funny. And then on top of it all, every so often, or I'll even go as far as to say frequently, she'll give actual good advice.
Yeah.
And I think something that's interesting about advice is it's advice isn't directions. Good advice can't be
should do XYZ.
Yeah.
It has to be follow your bliss kind of shit. Yeah.
But good advice can result in a poor performance. She gave Lady Camden advice to do, it was because Lady Camden was I'm going to do William Shakespeare. And but also maybe I can't think of her name. It's the other woman from AdFab who's not Jennifer Saunders or Dawn French.
Joanne Lumley.
And Rue was do William Shakespeare by way of Joanne Lumley. Because Rue was you have to love it. So put something that you love into it. And it's really, I think Lady Camden's William Shakespeare was way more successful than they acknowledged.
I agree.
Especially because she was actually making jokes.
Mm-hmm. I also don't think anybody picked an inspired person to Snatch.
So half of them, a lot of them looked good. And the thing is, because it's like Betsy DeVos, first of all, needed to be done 3 years ago if we were going to do it. Second of all, she looked decent. She needed, because she has a vein, but it needed to be blended better, yada, yada. It was a good impression, but there wasn't a character there.
Yeah.
Like, she was doing an impression. And
also, isn't Jasmine like a tiny baby?
22 or
That's
23.
Not, I mean, you're not old.
That level of political satire is not.
Okay, especially when this episode proved for a fact that 90% of these queens are effectively illiterate. So, like, I don't know.
What was the word?
Rugged.
I'm not gonna. You said that. I didn't. I'm not bullying drag queens.
I'm not bullying drag queens. I'm bullying Betsy DeVos in the education system. But like, I don't buy that level of political savvy from Jasmine.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jasmine absolutely should have picked someone else more in the wheelhouse. But it's like, it's just like everything Jasmine does, where it's like
the improvisation was missing for almost all of them.
Yeah, and this specifically, Jasmine was, like all of her stuff, overthought by like 25%.
Well, because I said she answered one of the questions as like, "Oh, my team didn't prep me for that," and I laughed.
Yeah,
I genuinely laughed. And then she kept talking, making my team usually preps me before, and I was
for
like,
hearings.
And I was like, "Oh, you took it away."
Yeah,
and she always over explains, or she always goes too, like you said, by 25%.
Because
she goes
you're
two
totally
steps
right.
too far.
If she had just said, "My team didn't prep me for this," it's a very perfect look over there.
Well, and also it's like, because the whole thing with improv is yes and there is a very, very fine sliver of no that can work for improv.
Yeah.
And if you can do it the right way, just being like, no.
Yeah.
You can actually really make it work. You can't be combative, but it like, but furthermore, it's not no, it would be in character for Betsy to have no idea what she's talking about. So she refuses to answer the question.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it just was not tuned enough. And then Angeria was doing Tammy Brown. It was decent. So I haven't seen Tammy. I'm familiar with Tammy through memes.
Okay.
I told you she was on season 1.
Yeah.
And I think she's All-Stars 1 or 2. But she's a really loopy, because she's the one that does the I'm acting.
Yeah.
That's
funny.
And Angeria wasn't not doing that, but again, there was nothing beyond that initial shell of an impersonation.
Yeah. That's okay. That's my biggest issue with very specifically the Drew Barrymore and Gwyneth Paltrow. So Willow and Bosco. There's just a shell of what's going on, because I referenced, in my opinion, the best Drew Barrymore impersonation, which is Heather Graham on SNL doing an Inside the Actor Studio skit with Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell. There is a way to do Drew Barrymore, but Michelle was right. You have to get, like, there's a personality there. There's like a zaniness and like a kind of over the top Earth child kind of a thing. And Willow was not doing that. And then like, as it kept going, she even kind of lost the lisp and the voice and everything. It
was the insecurity, because I think weirdly, voice of reason or like grounded presence Dove Cameron came in and was actually a very effective judge.
Wildly one of the best judges, I feel like.
I guess I stan her. So she's background story there. I knew her name, but I didn't know who she was, and so I would just sort of like throw her name out there and like
derisively, like
and like, oh yeah, Dove Cameron's gonna blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And finally, you were like, "What's your deal with Dove Cameron?" I was like,
I don't know.
I didn't even know who she was. And so, cut to this last summer, she was in Schmigadude, and she was delightful, and she's also hot as balls.
She's so hot,
but. Yeah, so she was fantastic. But when she said to Willow, she was like, you kept looking to Rue for approval.
Yeah.
And I feel like that alone, like, not that if she weren't doing that, it would have been a good performance, but it would have shaved, I think, 15% off of the...
Yeah.
And I think that, do we just not have, like, an actor But they've done so good in the acting challenges.
They've all done so good in the acting challenges. But that's the other thing, too, is like there is an angle to do a Drew Barrymore impression, but it's also Drew Barrymore, I feel like, is not enough.
I would have fallen in, and this is neither here nor there, it's just my 2 cents, but I would have fallen into Jillian, her character on Family Guy.
Sure.
Because that's the other thing. The thing about...
Also, Jillian wears exactly what Willow came in the workroom wearing. Like a white tank top and a pink skirt.
But I mean, I would have been Drew Barrymore, but I would have gone... Because that's the thing with so much of... Because we're big SNL fans. We like watch and study like comedy. I study comedy more so, but like SNL. And you can either do a impression or a take.
Yeah.
And
that's my issue with the Gwyneth Paltrow.
Because Bosco thought she was doing a take.
But she was not even barely doing an impression. And so that's the bummer, is because there are things to... And she like almost went there with the vagina candle and everything.
No, I was going to say, she looked great, although, this is nitpicky, but she was giving me more Blythe Danner than she was giving me Gwyneth Paltrow, but she looked great, but then it wasn't... Gwyneth has like a more willowy, wispy voice. Yeah. Like, she's way more like...
She was doing a real...
She was doing really throaty.
Samantha from Sex and the City voice.
But the candle, when she made the candle joke, and they were like, they said something about what does it smell like, and I was like, she should have been like my ass.
The new one smells like my ass, but instead she said yonic, which still just means like your vagina.
Yeah, and then like, because it's like I would have kept bringing out candles, and I would have been like, and this one's my left tit, and like, you know what I like, or just sort of like.
And so it's like, also, even if you don't want to do the like crazy goop, like Gwyneth Paltrow, there is also...
But that's where the...
Of course there's comedy there, but if you're not gonna do goop, there's the whole other vibe of the fact that she doesn't know what the fuck movies she's been in. You know what I mean?
That she's just above it all.
She's just like, oh, you know.
I wasn't in Spider-Man. Yeah. Like, just completely.
You know what I mean?
That actually, no, that's...
There's ways to go. There's a way to make Gwyneth Paltrow kind of daffy, where she's like, I just go where Ryan Murphy tells me to.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing, you know? It's like, there's things to do, and it just, like, I don't know, again, if I were Bosco, I would have gone a whole different direction, too. She's got such a pointy face that I would have done something... I don't know, more like caricature-y than Gwyneth Paltrow. Like, I would have picked a whole different person.
Or like, because again, to say like do a take, it's like do Gwyneth Paltrow, but like each time it's a different character from her movies.
Sure, because she just doesn't know, because she has no like awareness of who she is, because she's just doing these people. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That could have also been a thing for like a lot of really like costume reveals. Like she starts out in something and like gradually goes. I don't know. I was disappointed basically across the board.
But I think that's funny because, like I said, there's always the person who like kind of, because they all looked good. Yeah. They just didn't have the like.
They didn't do good.
The chops. Yeah. And it's just not you. There's usually like 2 or 3. It's not usually the entire team. And because again, I thought Daya looked really good as Ozzy. But it was very grounded. Like she wasn't doing.
Okay, so do you remember when Rosé did Mary Queen of Scots? Uh-huh. And it worked whenever she started spouting out just like Scottish nonsense. I don't know why Daya Betty didn't lean into something like that. Just start spouting Ozzy Osbourne nonsense.
I don't remember who, but in a previous Snatch Game that we saw, someone had already done that bit where they just kept regurgitating the previous answer. And so it was like, that would be one thing if, like Bosco pointed out, Bosco's like, I'm flopping too.
I'm doing bad. So why are you copying me?
So it's like a take, but it was all half baked.
Yeah, it's sort of what it sort of felt like to me is that everybody had an idea in their mind of like the outfit that they wanted to wear and then did no % research on the actual person they were being.
No, I mean, I think they did, but I think everybody was collectively spooked. Like,
yeah, I don't really.
Everybody was
nowhere.
Just, and Raven, because they're right. Raven was funnier than.
Yeah.
I said it wrong last week. I said that it was Raja that did RuPaul's makeup, it's Raven. But Raven and even Dove, she was trying, and there was just not much. All of her looks, but I loved her like mermaid hair.
Yeah. This would have been the week to have Amy Poehler be a guest judge because she is apparently a very generous laugher.
She can't work miracles. And then Georgia's was Lana Glazer. It didn't. And then
it was like in the workroom, Rue was like, "Who else do you got?" She was like, "Aubrey Plaza."
Rue was like, "Let me get us a peek at your Aubrey Plaza," and she just went, which not a terrible Aubrey Plaza.
Not 100% no.
Who famously was having a stroke for 2 weeks and nobody noticed because she's just always weird.
Okay, also, are you fucking kidding me, Georges? This entire ass time, Selena and Prince. You didn't think to do Selena or Prince?
I probably would have dinged her if she did Selena because she's been relying on that.
Well, then Prince.
Because I also keep thinking, I'm like, Eva Longoria. And then I'm like, she doesn't know who Eva Longoria is.
That's true. But Eva Longoria would be so good.
I mean, I don't know that Eva really has, like...
a shtick.
Yeah. I mean, Gabby did,
from
but
Housewives.
I don't know. It was rough. I maintain, I think Lady Camden did a little bit better than
she got credit for sure.
But then her look was so lousy. That was... Ugh.
Okay,
do we want to move on to the looks?
Sure.
Where's the chocolate trombone?
I don't understand how they all got away with this runway.
The theme was Holy Couture, and I don't know if they're because they're given prompts, so it's like I don't know if there's like a blurb on the prompt that explains what that means, because what it means to me is the Vatican.
Yeah,
like what it means to me is like uber like Christian, Southern Christian, then with like fashion, high fashion. And
I would argue it could be any major world religion.
But that's where it starts. So I'm like, I wish that was made more clear, because when Willow's going on about fungus and I'm like, what? And I'm like, I don't think the prompt was what you worship or like what your concept of God is.
That was at least not made clear to us.
And so that's where I was a little bit more so like, because it's like you have Daya and Bosco, who are in very straightforward,
religious,
like interpretations, and then you have like Georges doing a take, and it made for me and you, it made for a very inconsistent runway. I was sort of like in a way that they didn't critique because they were still too focused on Snatch Game, I guess. So I did want to say this, I think, is one of my favorite, is one of the better RuPaul looks. I was sort of mystified by it because it was like
it almost looked like burlap, but it was like pink and purple and blue.
It was like that woven plaid or like that woven, like that stiff I can't think of the name of the type of fabric, but regardless. But it like the way it hanged, it was much more delicate. And it was like glittery. I don't know. I was really into it. And the wig. I really like the wig. It's good. One of my favorites. Okay. The runway.
Okay. I'm sorry. I have to say it. I once she said it, I understood. It's fine, whatever. You have the nerve to say that Lady Camden's looks homemade and this doesn't? I beg your unbelievable pardon.
Well, because neither of the three of us got it. We were like, huh?
Until she said.
And then she said Joan of Arc. And I was like, oh. And you were like, I mean, I guess. And then Dove was like,
oh, the first
everyone
thing I thought,
knows Zendaya from the Met Gala. And I was like, yes, everyone does. And I was looking at this for minutes, and I did not put those two things together.
Okay, because that is what I was expecting from this whole runway, was like
the Met Gala.
That one Met Gala from like 4 years ago, and it did not deliver.
I like once Dove Cameron said it, I was like, oh yeah. But I don't know. I'm not succeeding. I'm trying to not be a hater, but I didn't get it.
No,
None
it
of
didn't. It didn't work for me. It's like, it looks like a picnic tablecloth.
Did you ever have those books where it was like how to like improvise costumes from things you own?
Of course.
That's what it looks like to me.
Okay. What the actual fuck with this bitch? I'm losing my goddamn mind.
This is such a good look from Jasmine, who was on my last nerve. And then she pulls this out. And I'm like, how is the same person that's doing this doing half of the other things? Because not only is this
best she's looked all season.
Not only is this stunning, but then she had the audacity to include a reveal that is equally as stunning and also somehow on, like, still completely on theme.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable.
It's so good. I just can't believe someone had to have tackled her and ripped that wig off of her head. I cannot believe we don't have that.
This is
fucking
also
loofah.
That was the only one that I enjoyed the take of it. You know what I mean? Where I enjoyed, like, she put the astrology spin on it, and I loved that. You're right. It's like, I don't know how the same brain that came up with that stupid high school graduation shit from 2 weeks ago.
That's so much.
You know what I mean?
It wasn't that bad for me.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't good.
I mean, I'm trying to not, because also young people don't like it when you're just like, oh, you're young. So it's like, I'm trying to not just keep chalking it, up to that. But I'm also, it's like, it's not like you're young, ergo you're doing something wrong. It's like, you're not finished cooking. It's like
Jasmine still has 3 years until all the neural pathways are marked.
It's like I truly believe she has, because she's clearly talented. Yeah. But I feel like she just hasn't actually got her hands on what it is she is, on what she does. Now I actually loved this.
I do too.
It's simpler, but it's another way to take because again, I was thinking everyone was going to do Met Gala, and it's like that was definitely that was very present in what we saw. But this just Angeria, it was so authentic. It was so cute. The character is so fully formed. Yep. The details, like, I absolutely, I love this.
Yeah. For a pageant queen, she is really nailing kind of all of it for me in a way that, like, in previous seasons, the pageant queens have started to wear me out after a while. She's still right up on top for me. I also love that it's that baby pink. It's so insufferable. Again,
well, it's exquisite.
It's great. It looks amazing.
It's also nauseating.
It is nauseating.
It is utterly. Because what'd she call it? Like a bloody tooth fungus or something?
It's something. It's like, it basically, when it grows, it looks like it's bleeding. Yeah.
But it's exquisite. It's so well made. It's so... The makeup is so good. I was
going to say, her little makeup around the nose is so good.
Like 3 of them went with like red contacts. It was interesting. It was very interesting. But the thing for me is I was just like, I didn't understand how it was wholly couture. And I was really surprised no one commented on that.
Well, it's because that's the thing is, like, I almost feel like they came up with the name of it later. And whenever they were telling the queens what to pack for, it was like, what are you like? What's your spiritual worship like? And those two things are not the same.
And and then I wanted it to be like spiritual couture or something. It's something about the word holy. Yeah. I think that's where for me it rooted it in like a very
Judeo-Christian religion place.
And I mean, I guess that word's not exclusive, but that's just, I went very, This was good. It was well made. It was, for my personal taste, it was a little too on the nose.
I figured out what about her style bugs me, and it's that it's the ugliest parts of the 80s. Like, it's definitely a take and it's a move, and then she fell. But that's why it doesn't 100% click with me, but I still kind of like it.
Well, it's well done.
It's well done, but it's like the ugliest parts of the 80s.
It's well constructed, it's well done, but it just sort of, because that this is giving me like when Lindsay Lohan dresses up as the zombie bride in.
Sure.
There was something about it that it was just kind of, and a couple people have said that we haven't really seen her do like high glam. And it's like, I know we saw it straightforward once in the Red, White, and Blue Ball challenge. She did a white, kind of like a Lady Gaga American Horror Story. And then I think when she did the pink table talk or the drag con with the yellow, it's like it was still very punk rock, but it was very glam.
Sure.
And I would like to see one or two more times her just do a straightforward beauty look.
I agree.
That doesn't have the edge or the... I got here with this. Dense. I was like, what is the devil's lettuce? And like that, they made several puns, and I was like, huh? And then and I was like, why does she have a bouquet but no flowers? And like finally, I was like, oh, it's weed.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So
for me, it actually looked like the Olympic torch.
Yeah.
That's what at first I was like, what? And then and as soon as they said devil's lettuce, I was like, oh, okay.
It's a take on what Rihanna wore to the Met Gala. Hers was silver. This is obviously green. It's good. It's very good. It is. I mean, she still is, relying on the body, as many of them are. But I think that there's enough there. I think that it is elevated. I think that it's detailed, the coloration, even the purpley blue wig.
The wig was
and the red eyes
swing for sure. Yeah.
It even do the red eyes with the weed. I actually like this a lot. I like this a lot. Lady Camden, this was so okay.
Well, she worships the Spice Girls.
We know.
Yeah.
Although, thankfully, it has been a minute since she's reminded us. But it was like, so Lady Camden was like an early frontrunner for me in that I saw potential for her. But like the first 3 or 4 looks she brought, people, and it's like you weren't really feeling.
Yeah.
And then she sort of...
She like leveled up.
Yeah, elevated a little bit. And then this went right back down.
Yeah. It's not my favorite thing. I don't think it's the worst thing on the runway, but it's not my favorite. And to say that this looks like costumey and like you made it at home, but Deja Skies looks couture and well made, I don't know. I can't have those two comments together. And I do kind of love that she incorporated all 5 of the Spice Girls.
Did she?
Well,
she phoned it in with Victoria's attitude.
Yeah.
I was like... Bosco's my girl. I just loved this. I loved this so much. And I know it's lingerie, but...
Okay, I like it. And I think it's fine. But this is the 3rd week in a row where she's worn basically this. I do like the hooves. I do like the hooves. The hooves are good.
I kind of wanted to take the habit off.
I like it better with it on. Otherwise, how is she a nun?
Horns or something? I don't know. I kind of wanted there to be a...
I don't know. I don't hate it. Would any of these fucking bitches just put on a dress? Killing me.
This is very 17th of all energy from us, coming from us this week.
Also, just as like a general thing, Snatch Game makes me so uncomfortable.
Snatch Game is like everybody's favorite, and you hate it because you don't like...
It's
awkward.
So much secondhand embarrassment, and tonight was the worst.
Did that not make it better that everybody was failing?
It kind of did, but it makes me feel bad for them. I don't like it. It makes me feel bad.
I mean, if they were like kidnapped off the street and then forced to do it, I would
Were they not? We don't know. We don't know the process for getting cast on RuPaul's Drag Race. That could be what happened.
I mean, they know that this is coming.
I mean, I guess.
It was actually kind of a more entertaining episode in that.
Yeah, it was okay. It was like not a terrible episode.
It was fun to watch.
Especially because Michelle really was like, girl.
She said, stretch.
Michelle said 17th of all. She was like, I am confused by this entire thing.
Before Ru was like, so let's get down to the judging. And she was like, first.
Yeah.
You're all terrible.
This was bafflingly bad. And then she was like, let's investigate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It was...
Which weirdly broke the tension.
It did. And they all kind of were like, no, yeah.
Because if it's just one person who did bad, then it's like they really get to feel bad. But it's like if everybody flopped, then you could kind of be like, well. Yeah.
I feel like there was one a couple of seasons ago, not a Snatch Game, but there was like a challenge a couple of seasons ago where everybody was sort of terrible. And they were like.
There's been a couple, in season 7, the Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody was bad on that one.
I remember that. And that ended up being like actually a pretty good like judges panel.
Well, Rue was like, Rue really came down in that one. Yeah. So, well, if we know one thing, it is that we will be back next week because they are as well. And there's going to be some lip syncapalooza or something. I think we're losing 3 girls easily because I thought we were going to lose. At least. I thought it was going to be a bloodbath tonight. And then
looks like next week. So, I mean, who do you think at this point? I was going to say Georges and Jasmine, but like they are both really good lip syncers, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know because we still have this goddamn candy bar.
Motherfucker.
But I don't. A lot of people are complaining. I'm still enjoying it, and also in the show's defense, it keeps it interesting.
It does. It 100%.
I kind of like all the weird shakeups and gimmicks and stuff. And I also kind of like that some of them work better than others. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like sometimes we've been like, well, this is stupid. Then we've been like, actually, it made it really interesting.
I think I preferred, was it last year or was it All Stars where they
where they vote for each other?
No, where it was like all the eliminated queens then got to do a lip sync for your life.
It was All Stars.
All Stars, because Silky went super far. I liked that a lot. This chocolate bar thing is a little too much chance.
It's contrived. There's just no, I feel the opposite. There's no way that it's actual chance. I think production's just going to give it to who they want to keep. Which is fine. I mean, people get really mad about it, and they're like, well, it's so fair. And I think that's what I mean when I keep saying this is a TV show. Yeah. It's a TV show before it's a competition.
Yeah.
And
I, don't want to burst anyone's bubble, but Drag Race is not a meritocracy. This is a rotatorship.
And we will deal with the consequences.
We will.
So, okay. Well, that was our conversation about that episode of Drag Race. So hopefully you had fun, and hopefully you like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. We're trying to grow, and all the stuff helps, and we're trying to make money, and we're trying to make more videos and equipment and stuff like that. So all of the stuff.
If you'd like to see all of our pores at some point, help us upgrade this camera.
I thought you said porns, and I was like,
no.
I was like, I mean, I certainly haven't been in one.
No. The pores in our face. Got it.
Bye.